Hello again, this is Hero. Today's subjects, I have two of them. I think I'll call this the good and the bad. Well, what's good? It got sold. Bad? Remember this one here especially? I wanted to work on this side, and this is supposed to get taller, and then that one kept tight. Well, you could tell by the tag that it's been sold. That's the bad part. I can't show you the final finish. And that's the boulevard cypress. And then on these deciduous ones, like maples, elm, and things like that, when it comes out of dormancy, it just shoots all these really long, vigorous ones. Well, you know, they've had this nice little sleep, so they come out very vigorous. Today is May the 5th, and I guess the multiple cultures are celebrating today. Well, in the Japanese culture, today is the Kids' Day. 5/5 is Kids' Day. And then, well, it used to be that 5/5 or May 5 was Boys' Day. And 3/3 was the Girls' Day, but for some reason they decided they're just going to make 5/5 the Kids' Day. Well, anyway, so I've already trimmed this once. It was way over here, and then now it needs to be trimmed again. You notice the new shoots are very big. Well, we're trying to get rid of the big leaves, and then in its place will be a smaller one. So that will be more towards finish, right? Well, if that's the truth, then it really isn't finished, right? Because every year it does the same thing. Well, that's the beauty of bonsai, is that it's kind of challenging all the time. It's never going to get finished, right? The lady that bought this, she bought this one for her son's birthday, but it's not for another couple of weeks, so I have this time to, well, shoot this video because, well, originally I wanted to show you how I had envisioned this, right? I think I'm going to also have enough time to shoot it, well, not shoot it, but I think one more pruning before she comes. I think she said somewhere in the middle of the month or towards the tail end. I don't know. Well, I'm not good with numbers and remembering them. Okay, so I think that's okay for now. So the master plan for this was this has to be at least here, and then these more distinct. Well, what we want is these to be in a formal upright, straight trunk, and with nice placement of the branches. So this one sort of represents maybe like a redwood grove. And well, this is where the tricky part is. We want to keep a bunch of extra to make it stay vigorous so you go up higher. So something like this, never take off the apex because that's where it's going to start to elongate, but we could still keep some of this down below to keep it healthy and growing fast, right? And then once again, we have 1, 2, 3. So number 1 tree, number 2, and number 3 should be all the different sizes. Okay, this one here, see how all these side branches want to become the leader, and we want to keep it so that it will elongate. And then, so see, this one is trying to compete. So if we cut it like this, then it starts to become a side branch, and that's what we wanted to do. So one of these will lead, but right now it's too early to select. I want to keep the vigor going. I think what I might do is get her son to bring this back to me towards the fall or after summer. So anyway, we try to make it as straight as possible. It's undefined right now in terms of the apex. But this one was getting to the point where if I didn't take care of it, it was going to end up bunched and then really would lose the apex. This one's a little better, but let's trim a few. So once again, do not touch the true apex. We want it to elongate as fast as we can to the height we want, and then we'll start to deal with it. Okay? So basically, that's what I need to do. So ideally, I was hoping that I could hang on to this until about this fall. Then I could have done a really good job of making the video. But I'm in the business of selling, so of course I sold it. Okay, so basically what I have to do is pull the weeds. Remember, this is the one that we were experimenting with the new soil. I think it's going to work out fine. So those of you that missed it, I think it was last year when I was talking about how you can use the potting soil from your nurseries. Anyway, so basically I'm going to do that. Oh, you notice that the moss is slightly different color here and there. Well, what happened was the lady that she committed herself to buying it, it was nice and cool. Then it got hot into record heat in the mid-90s. And then now we're back to cold again. So those are temperature fluctuation is not good for moss or plants. I noticed that there was a few of my materials in the maple that looked like you got. Okay, so this is the one that she came for her son's birthday present. Oh, I did put the gravel back in because it was getting a little bit on the low side, but I'll keep an eye on it. She's supposed to text me when she's going to pick it up, and then I'll do my final check. I bet you the weeds will be popping up again. And then if I need to fill some more of that gravel, I will. But you notice that you don't want the stream bed to be straight. So this kind of meanders and disappear into where you don't know. That's what you want to do, is to create this sense of mystery. Okay, so this is the son's birthday present. Okay, well, we're staying with this lady's purchase. So what happened was she came for her son's gift, but then she fell in love with this one. So she said, I gotta have that one. So anyway, she's gonna be picking up two. So I think this is the one that we went 8-8. Well, especially the Chinese custom, 8 is a lucky number. So there's 8 trees and 8 rocks. That's a double 8. I thought it'd be double lucky, right? I think we did do this one somewhere. So if you're interested, just kind of look back and see about double 8. Anyway, so this is both sides is Japanese maple, but I need to get in there and trim it again. So this has been trimmed once already, and it grew right back. So I'm going to go in there and trim it again. Let's go ahead and take a look. I was wondering, did I do this before I got started? Maybe not. Well, trying to remember everything is hard. But anyway, this is the double 8. So if we count the number of trees, there's 4 and 4, which is not what you're supposed to do in the Japanese tradition, but in the Chinese tradition, 8 is a good number. So I have 8 trees and 8 rocks. Ever wonder where some of the inspiration comes from? Well, you know these trees, right? They're kind of leaning this way and leaning like that. I started doing that. Remember the TV program Jag? Well, there was one episode where Bud was getting married, and then I guess in the military, well, you veterans should know this, but anyway, in the military, they take these sabers on one on this side, one on the other side, and they walk through it. And I said, hey, that is a good look. So I started doing that a lot of times when I do these groves, so that, yes, these are based on what I saw in Jag. Hey, what can I say? I mean, well, I think that's why you should never never rule anything out. Just go do something new, and maybe you'll get something new out of it. And so, people that want to do bonsai only go see bonsai, I think you're missing out. And even TV programs can be a source of inspiration. Of course, sometimes my family thinks I'm weird. I'm looking at the background scenery, looking at the rocks and things like that when everybody's paying attention to the story. But hey, I still remember that episode of Jag where Bud got married and it was cross saber. Well, so this is the 2 that is going to go. So this concludes the good news, bad news. The good news is these got sold, so it makes me happy, but kind of a sad in that we don't get to see the finish. Well, this one's not so bad. This one is basically about the right location and everything else, other than trimming, and in the next couple of years it's going to start to look great. But the first one, I really wanted to hang on, but hey, in the business, you got to sell when there's a buyer. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. And should I have enough time, I might do one more quick look at these 2. Okay, goodbye. I'll see you again real soon.